Come on in. Good morning and welcome to Transwest Truck Trailer RV. Boy, oh boy, what a fantastic 2025 it has been. Please welcome to the last video you'll see of me this year and to a 2026 Newmar Superstar, just like my own. My name is Katie O'Neill. I'm coming to you live from Frederick, Colorado. You can always find me at 303-562-8659. Again, 303-562-8659, or you can find me at TTTRV on YouTube, or even better at RVs Inside Out. And as usual, Jody, I like to start my RV videos from the inside out, so please go ahead and take her on back. So I have to tell you guys, this is so much fun for me. This is an opportunity to rebuild perfect. So I already have a 2022 Newmar Superstar 4065. This is exactly the same floor plan, except for now it's called a 4040. It's a Newmar Superstar. It is built on the M2-106 chassis, except for now it's an M2-106 Plus chassis. So it's got better steering wheel controls, better module incorporation of power systems throughout the coach underneath in the parts that you don't see. And most importantly, what they've allowed us to do in this new model is we're able to do two-tone cabinets, some really great new interior colors, like this Sedona suede finish, which is just gorgeous, paired with the Summit maple that you see over here. So this was really fun. I was able to come through in this coach and really make it exactly what I would have dreamt of if I had to reorder a 2026 to replace my 2021. So things like the valances, you will not see these on another coach done in this fashion. These are special ordered in. I've also done the two-tone cabinets here in the suede finish. I love this new headboard. As you can see, it's just got a very nice solid maple finish with the padding in the back. The windows open on either side. And of course, this is going to be a Euro booth dinette. So it has the extensions underneath the bed, as well as the extra chairs. Now that's 22 inches of extra table space for you at your Euro booth. And this is a 72 by 80 RV King mattress. And I'll tell you, one of the things that I can mention to you is when sitting on these, I already like my mattress. They are a little more pillow topped than they were in 2022, so super, super nice. There is a radius air mattress available for you. And then keep in mind, here at Transwest, we have a really nice mattress shop right down the street that will deliver RV mattresses to us. So if you order a coach from us or buy one from us and you want to have like a really firm mattress or a really soft pillow top mattress, we can actually help you to get the exact mattress that you want in on this coach for about the same amount that it would cost to upgrade to the air mattress. So not everybody's a fan of those air mattresses, but for, you know, somewhere in that, you know, less than $2,000, north of $1,000, you can pick out your own mattress and get exactly what you want delivered here to the dealership when you pick up your coach. Now, let's talk about things I love about my RV. First and foremost, I love all this big storage up above in these cabinets. Fantastic place for extra linens, bedding, things along those lines, but even more so. So what we've actually ended up doing in my household is I've taken over the left-hand side of the closet and I have given Jason the right-hand side of the closet. Now you'll notice there is the safe back here. Everything is lit. There's a ton of room down below. And I keep so many pairs of shoes and shoe boxes at the base of this, and then I have all of our hanging goods. The reason that we swap sides though is because I get a lot more storage in this coach because I get most of these drawers. So you'll notice that you have these 5 pocket doors here. And these drawers are so nice because you can keep, you know, your underwear, your bathing suits, your socks, all of those things here in the back, nice and separated. And then whenever we're camping, we actually will allocate a drawer to each one of the kids. So you've got these really nice drawers here underneath your television. And as you can see, they're super deep pocketed. They're all soft close. These are solid maple drawers, right? So these are really, really nice, well-made, very, very, how shall we say, sophisticated looking too. I love the shaker look here. So this is a very, very nice way for you to have company. So the bigger bulky items can go in the drawers for the kids. Like my daughter's like got a ton of like accessories, you know, whether it be like hair dryers, makeup bags, all that stuff. And then my son, of course, has guitar picks, baseball hats, and the like. Now you'll notice here there is no more DVD player coming in these coaches. That is because most of these coaches are running on this 43-inch flat screen off of Starlink. So there's a number of different ways to attack Starlink. There's dual systems. There's, you know, the cable, you know, television like a DirecTV mixed in with a DVR system. There's also systems where you could do, you know, cradle point or a mobile system. It's very important to understand that there's a ton of different ways to attack this issue. And if you do it the right way, you'll get what you need for your coverage, but you really want to talk to someone who knows what they're doing to help you out with that. Now, in my coach, another thing that I absolutely love is my washer and dryer. My Splendid stackable washer and dryer has been one of my favorite attributes in upgrading our camping experience. I keep my towels in here to dry, and then whenever we have an outdoor fire pit, if it's stinky, we can put our clothes in either the washer or the dryer, put in lights and darks instead of having to have them in a laundry basket, and it really helps to keep that smell dampened and out from out of your coach. Now, on either side of these headboards, Jody, if you'll just show that one, it's got two USB ports. One's a Type A, one's a Type C, and then there's two 110s. I currently just have the USB ports, so I'm always buying extra, little cables to keep everything working. And then another feature on this coach I think that is really worth mentioning and a huge upgrade is you still have your two 110s up top. There's the grommets that come out here so you can run a computer. You've got all of your switches here, and then you see that there's that little kind of pad, that little touch pad for your ATC panel. So those are different ways to operate this coach, but the big change for this coach, in all honesty, is going to be the fact that now you can sync everything to your phone. So the new ATC system that came out in 2026 allows you to sync everything to your phone. And then another big change of this coach, so you'll see underneath here, we used to have carpet. This is all lined with a really nice vinyl material. You've got your little places to keep your water bottles and your sultry novels next to your bed. Plenty of room here on the ground if you want to keep any kind of CPAP machine. But again, having no carpet on this floor or on this in this coach is a big difference maker. And you'll see even here on this full wall slide, the whole way down, in my coach, this would be carpet. And in this coach, it's not carpet. It's actually a really nice vinyl material that you can sweep, which is great because this coach has central vac, right? So you can sweep everything into the central vac. No need to really pull your hoses out anymore. Now, I did order this coach not only with the special valances, but also with the 3-window Carefree awning package. I use this all of the time. It's a really, really nice feature for us. And as you can see in this 40/40 floor plan, they've moved your television and your window so that you've got a little more counter space, if you will, up into the corner. So it's really, really nice amount of dresser for us when we're camping. A lot of times, like the kids will keep their baseball hats up here on this little ledge. I have my little jewelry stand out. I mean, it really feels like home in here when we're camping. Now these have not changed at all. They're 72 by 30 inches. This is again the 40/40, which is always going to be a bunk model if it ends in 40 now. That's one of the changes that Casey and Matt made along with Ryan and JP when they came in and took over the brand and started trying to kind of homogenize things to make it easier to shop for, just by making every bunk model end in a 40. If you're looking at a 45/40 or a 41/40 or a 40/40, it's always just going to be a bunk model. Now, in true Newmar fashion, making great use of all space is super important. These drawers are awesome. I mean, I can't tell you how many pairs of underwear, socks, jeans, t-shirts that you can keep in each, and there's 2, so both the kids get to have them. And then you'll notice that there are USB Type A and C outlets here, as well as a net to keep the phone, 2 110 outlets, a nightlight. And then these opening windows are great for you. Even if you don't have anyone with you, it's a great way to get some fresh air in throughout the coach. You can just run the little fan in the bathroom and really keep some fresh air circulating through the coach when it's just, when it's just the 2 of you. And of course for the kids, especially if you got a 21-year-old son, kind of keeps the odors down, if you will. Hope CJ's not watching this video today. He watches a lot of my videos. All right, so here you'll see we can remove this mattress. And one of the things that we talk about in a lot of videos that's really important to understand is the way that this is constructed. It's got a nice felt material underneath on both the bottom and the top bunk. So for those of you that are not looking to have folks with you, you can leave the ladder at home or you can store it. And you can use this area up here or down here because of this lip. You can use this to keep totes in. So if you are going to go on a long trip to Alaska, Canada, you know, anywhere along those lines, and you want to make sure that you have enough of your supplies, so you can bring your bread supplies, all of your drinks, beverages, anything that you want on these longer road trips, and keep it in bins where it's not going to be affected by the heat or the cold. I am so thrilled with how this turned out. First of all, bright and white with this beautiful Summit cabinetry up top. Second of all, I just have always had this affinity for the finish of the Newmar. So this is the Newmar herringbone backslash that you'll see, you know, in our 2026, 2025 models. I just think it's so gorgeous. The Blackwells actually ordered a coach that had this first, and I was like, this is too good to be one-shot wonder. We're gonna go ahead and put it in a different floor plan and see how it looks. Turned out great, especially with this beautiful vessel sink. And you can see this really gives you a ton of space here. I love the faucet set. Everything just really transitioned so well with this look. Normally you'd have just another piece of corian that kind of goes halfway up. So I've done a lot of special little tweaks to this coach to really make it exactly what I would order the second time around. Now, of course, I'm not going to replace my Superstar. There's no reason to. It's got 20,000 miles on it and we use it all the time. But if I was to have to replace it, this is definitely how I would go about it. So here's, of course, your breaker panel, just like you're used to seeing. You'll notice it says floor heat 1 and 2 up there. That is because this coach does have floor heat. And then you'll see ATC net. This is, again, going to be the interface that we're using now instead of the Silverleaf interface. And the reason that's important is because this coach has 640 amp hours of lithionics on it and the ability to run the central air conditioner. Now, to be very honest with you, it's not a position where I found myself in often where I've needed to have AC at night. But if you are staying down in the Everglades, if you're going to be anywhere where, you know, it's really muggy and warm, maybe up in the Midwest in the summertime, it would be really nice to be able to boondock and run your air conditioning overnight. And this coach actually has the lithionics package. And the reason that that Newmar decided to go with ATC is because they work really well with their lithionics battery system, and it really helps to integrate the control between that battery management system and what's coming in and leaving the coach in terms of your solar input or your 50 amp input, and to really help regulate the best. Now, the benefit, of course, of the ATC panel and having that lithionics package is that it has a second inverter. That second 3,000 watt inverter is no longer a Magnum inverter. It's now going to be a Victron inverter. So that's been a very big migration for Newmar. We've used Magnum for a long time, that pure sine inverter. These 3,000 watt Victron inverters have been very popular in the marketplace. They're easy to read, and they also work very, very well with our Magnum inverter. Now you'll note here when I close this little guy, it's in a pocket door, right? So there's no tippy door for some people that are looking for that wider egress into the world. This definitely has it. Another thing I want to point out about this shower is it's tons of room. I have had so many different guests here. I use this little seat all the time when I'm, you know, shaving my legs, washing my feet after a long hike. This is a very, very nice, roomy shower. And against the competition, so if you're looking at like a Renegade, for instance, a lot of them have that 35-inch radius shower. So certainly I would say that you've got a little more shoulder room here. It's honestly not a lot bigger from this direction, but it gives you a little more elbow space here if you're a big guy. And then, of course, with having the skylight out here, if you're tall, because you've got this wand, it's got winterizer all over it. But if you've got this wand, you can actually, you know, rinse off and take a really comfortable shower here without becoming, you know, claustrophobic, I guess. Okay, so this is where we keep all of the treatment for our toilet and our extra TP and supplies. This, of course, is where we keep the toothbrushes and toothpaste, dental floss, all those things. All the kids get a shelf. In here, tons of room for any kind of hair dryer that you might want to store. You've got, you know, plenty of room for a first aid kit, any of your, you know, medicines, you know, Tylenol and all that stuff for your, I had too many margarita last night moments. So you got your central vac, as I mentioned, in the mid bath, as well as the tube attachments, but you're not going to need to use those tube attachments nearly as often now that you don't have carpet in this coach. And then underneath here, oh gosh, we keep so much stuff underneath here. A lot of our cleaning supplies are here. You know, a lot of the aloe vera stuff that you use if you get sunburned, things like that. And I do keep everything in little like shower caddy types things, just so that if they do explode and leak, they don't drip underneath my sink. So that would be a recommendation I would definitely give you. Now back over here, just want to show you kind of the main control panel of this coach. So as I mentioned earlier, ATC is really cool. It gives you a very nice ability to see everything with your generators on. You can set your auto gen right here. You can run your climate control. You can turn your floor heat on and off. You've got high, medium, and low for both zones. You've got your access to your Oasis system here. So you'll see the burner system is going to be heating the coach. It's running off of the RV without even having the RV plugged into 50 or 30 amp, and it's using the diesel tank. Then you also have a 2-element system. So this Oasis system has 3 different elements heating your tankless hot water, or that tube of antifreeze that's flowing under the coach giving you central air. And then again, you have your floor heat. So you've got a lot of different ways to keep warm, as well as also having heat pumps. So you've got 2 air conditioners that are 15,000 BTUs with heat pumps on them. Oh, I should turn it back to furnace. Sorry, I have to set it to auto. Furnace is quieter. So when you're heating your coach, though, you can really heat your coach in a bunch of different ways. It's very convenient. And again, one of my favorite things is you can download the Newmar app onto your phone and control all the things that you like. And then as you can see here, just being able to go through the coach and turn your lights on and off, you know, appropriately for whatever you're trying to do in one place is just great. But most importantly, everything here, you know, your 60-gallon gray water tank, your 40-gallon black water tank, your 150-gallon freshwater tank, you can see all of that right here on this main menu or on your phone. So that's pretty fantastic. Now here in the center, one of the things I want to point out is you've got 2 different doors. So one of the things I talk to people about oftentimes is, I get it that sleeping on the couch up front is a thing you can do. Certainly it's fine, but having these 2 doors closed and creating a center bedroom or central room for you isn't just handy for the people who are in your bunks. If you're up early in the morning and someone else is sleeping in, this is a great area to be able to get dressed, to keep all of your things if you don't have company, or even if you do, because this door can also be shut off. But if you have company and someone is occupying these bunks and they want to be able to take a shower and get dressed without having the front half of the house see what they're doing, it gives you that level of privacy. So it's a very, very handy thing to have this 2 additional door system on this coach, giving you an extra entire, you know, private room to get ready. Not to mention the fact, if you've got littles that are going to bed at like, you know, 9:30, 10 o'clock, and you guys are staying up a little bit later, you know, playing cards, Monopoly, whatever it might be, you can close both of these doors, let the kids go to sleep, and then the adults can just kind of sneak through on their way after the games have ended. This is a great closet. For me, I'll keep a lot of my hiking boots up here, honestly. The kids keep their shoes in here when they are traveling with us. We always give them, again, everybody gets 1 drawer. If you're not traveling with anybody and it's just your own space, it's an awesome place to keep your rain jackets. That way when you get out of the coach, instead of having to come to the back and get into your rear wardrobes, are right there. As you can see, the pantry here is exactly what I have. It's a little push to release. I've got XOXO containers that fit in all the way back just to give me that extra height. I do take all of my bread supplies, pretzels, crackers, and the like out and put them in sealed containers. We've found that that is the best way to keep any kind of pest for wanting to come into your coach. You know, if a mouse smells a can of Pringles that's open, you know how that goes. No one can have just one. Now up here above this is where I keep my bread box and my toaster oven, and my toaster oven is big enough to cook a pizza in, so this is a great amount of space. Super fantastic. I love my refrigerator. So this is a Whirlpool. It's a 19.7 cubic foot refrigerator. I call this the Prosecco shelf, and it's really true. Whenever you're drinking a bottle of champagne or Prosecco, if you don't want to finish it, you've got a nice place to keep it, you know, for tomorrow morning for mimosas. You've got this little guy here for your ketchup and mustard and all your Trulies and your waters and your orange juices. And then of course the charcuterie drawer down below. It's just very easy to organize, a big residential style refrigerator. And then also, because it's got the water dispenser in here, you don't have to have a Brita on board to filter your water. You've got a whole house water filter outside, and then another water filter for the water coming out of the door, and then also going here into your ice maker. Now, one thing I will tell you is whenever you're gonna go on a road trip, the first thing you need to do is say, honey, did you check the freezer? Because I cannot tell you how many times we have been going down the road and I realize that I have not checked the freezer to make sure it's locked. So you always want to make sure you slide that into your locked position so you can't open your freezer door while you're going down the road, because inertia will get the better of you. I have literally broken an entire 24 Costco egg pack on my floor by not checking my refrigerator door. That is the one thing. I don't like the new Renegade version either, because Renegade has one that slides in, but the little handle's kind of chintzy. They used to have this nice metal latch. I'm all about metal latches. I don't care if it's pretty as long as it works. That's not true. That's why I have a Newmar, right? All right, so this is where we keep our French press, our paper towels, our knife block, all those things, olive oil, balsamic. I also love the fact this is, again, if I was to order a new coach, one of the things that I love about this RV is I love this nice gunmetal deep basin, single basin undermount sink. So this stainless steel sink is a single basin. Mine's a 2 basin. This is definitely a lot more functionality. If you've got big pots that you need to clean or anything along those lines, certainly is nice to have that extra space. But like I said, this is kind of like get everything right. I love the backsplash. Again, this is from that New Era. It just turned out so well. It's kind of fun for me when they let me make these coaches that I get to walk into them and see them for the first time. You know, everything is coming from my imagination, and I hope it turns out right. I'm ordering it for the staff, you know, everybody who works here. You know, you don't want to order anything that's, you know, going to kind of stay around brown. You know, you want to make sure that they're nice coaches. But when you get to walk into them and they turn out like this, it's so exciting, because the countertop is so pretty with the backsplash. Like, it just all ties in so well. The extra, you know, the extra treatment of the valance is all being very, very low impact and kind of neutral, if you will. There is a dark navy blue element through this if you want to do that. You could also choose to pull the black from it if you don't want to pull blues from it. It was just very, very neutral, you know, neutral backsplash. Or backdrop with this backsplash. I just think, you know, anything you want to do to accessorize, but no matter what you do, it's going to look glorious. So the True Induction cooktop is fully removable. You can take this outside when you want to cook. We use ours all the time. There's a few benefits to this. One of them is going to be the time that it takes to heat water is going to be a lot faster at altitude, for instance, here in the Rocky Mountains, than it would be if I was using propane. The other benefit, of course, is that if I put a paper towel down on top of this and boiled that pot of water, it would not catch on fire, so much better safety system. And then also, because you can either set it from 1 to 5 or by temperature, when you want to cook an egg at 360 degrees, you set it to 360, that is going to be the temperature that it comes out at. Your egg's going to turn out the same way no matter where you are, whether, you know, you're in Malibu or you're, you know, at Tiger Run. It doesn't matter. The altitude is not going to change the performance of the way that your food is cooking, because it's actually using a temperature to govern whether or not it's in the right place. I do love the built-in cutting boards. I will admit I probably will never use one. I can't imagine having a little knife mark my pretty cutting boards. I cut the top off of a trash can. We do use this trash can. We use it in the mid-bath because it's perfect for a little trash can in the bathroom. But we did make a bigger, taller trash can here. I love my scrubby drawer. Wouldn't deal without that. These are great. We keep our tongs in here, bottle openers, all of our cheese cutting accessories, all soft close, again, solid maple. And it looks so nice with a darker finish down below and then this nice bright white cabinet up above. Now this Whirlpool is better than mine because it is not only a convection and microwave oven, it's also an air fryer. And importantly, I had this one vented to the outside. So when I ordered my coach for myself back in 2021, I didn't know that I could vent the microwave outside. So for those of you who are using this often, if you want to actually be able to cook here underneath, have that bacon smell go out of the coach, that's how this microwave will function. This is actually vented to the exterior. There's not a whole lot of specials on this coach. This is the whole list of specials that I have. So the backsplash tile, venting the microwave, changing the leather on the furniture, and then also doing the valances. So, you know, a few things that are different, but not a whole lot. But I feel like when it comes together, you know, you get so much by just making these little tiny modifications. You know, I love the way the furniture set turned out. It's such a really pretty, I don't want to call, it's not a gray and it's not a beige. It's really kind of a putty color. Again, just very neutral, not so light that it's going to show a lot of dirt, pretty dark. And then this is, of course.
We do have a question in real time.
Oh, okay, we've got a question.
Yep. The question is, can you get the same unit without the bunk beds, or is there an additional option for the bunk beds?
Okay, the question is, can you get the same unit without the bunk beds? Certainly, you could definitely order a different floor plan, like a 4159 if you wanted to have a bath and a half. If you were looking for a unit where you were going to, you know, change the bunk beds into something else, that's also optional. Like maybe you want a pet den under there, an office space, things along those lines. But if you're looking for a mid-bath model that has a large rear bedroom and you know, a large galley up front, there's also a coach called a 4061 or a 4161. That's going to be a mid-bath model. It won't have the bunk beds. The kitchen ends up bumping out probably you know, quite a bit further, so you get a much longer counter space here. But that floor plan is also available. Now, if you heard me say a 4161 or a 4061, same thing goes with this coach. You can get this in a 4140 or a 4040, and we should cover that. Oh, by the way, thank you for the question. I hope that if that doesn't help, you can text me or just, you know, leave comments down below. I'll get you the floor plans and the order guides for both, and you can kind of compare. Well, there's a few. You can do a 4159, a 4061, or the 4040, and I can show you all three of those options, and you can pick out which would be the best for you. Back to 4040 versus 4140. What's the difference? The difference is the chassis. So this is built on an M2-112 Plus chassis. That's what I have. It's got 360 horsepower and then 1,150 foot-pounds of torque. For about $50,000, $60,000 more, you can get a 4140, which is going to be on the M2-112 Plus chassis. That is going to have the same L9, so the same 8.9 liter ISL, but the difference is going to be because of that extra nose length that it has on the 112 versus the 106, which is 112 inches versus 106 inches, you're able to get enough cooling in there to have an actual increase of horsepower from 360 horsepower to 450, so 90 horsepower more. Not a big difference maker going up a hill. That coach would have 1,250 foot-pounds of torque versus 1,150. The big difference, though, is going to be horsepower is going to be at speed on flat spaces. So if you find, as I do, you know, I could be standing on my gas pedal going across the country and I'm going 70 miles an hour. It's just, I mean, it doesn't go slow, but she's definitely not a race car. That's this engine. And if you want to have that extra horsepower and torque that you see in that same 8.9 liter, for instance, in a Dutch Star, that has 450 horsepower and 1,250 foot-pounds of torque. Both of those are available to you in twin floor plans, and the only difference between them is money. So that's also something worth noting. Fantastic clock, ties in so well. Oh, I love it with my Summit interior. I've got, of course, my control bay up here. You'll notice there's a few things worth mentioning. Solar prepped. Also, you've got your Victron controller system here. So this is, you know, you can see what your battery is at, and you know what kind of watch you're using. I did have to reset this morning, so that's really nice. The batteries were off. I just pushed the button, and when the blue ring is solid, that means that the batteries are on. The batteries were off this morning. when I grab the coach. I have one awning out. I didn't get both awnings to stay out. One's still out there though. I'm gonna leave it the way it is. And then I've got my security lights. The equalizer smart leveling jack system, we've changed the stairs in this so we don't have that hydraulic triple step any longer. A lot of people love that. A lot of people hated it. If you had problems with it, it was a total pain. If you didn't have problems with it, it was an amazing feature. But so they've gone to a new stair system, so they don't need that HWH hydraulic leveling jack system anymore. So now you just have that good old-fashioned equalizer leveling system that's so popular in the industry across, all the different platforms. And of course, this is also controllable on your phone app. Patio lighting, block heater we have on because today was super cold. The step cover. Always got to make sure you show all the good stuff. I got to tell you, we don't use this very often, but when we have company over, it's a really good idea to have that step cover in place, especially if you've got anybody who's got little ones. It's just nice. It's nice that it's integrated. It's nice that it's a standard feature. Of course, you've got your lock and unlock for your baggage doors, which is also available on the keypad outside or by remote, and then you've got your entry door locks and then your battery disconnect right here. So a pretty cool system all in. Another feature of this coach that I really like, again, I know we talked about this a few minutes ago, but 22 extra inches of entertaining space. Holy macaroni, that's a lot of room. And then of course we have our TV on the TV lift. Let's go ahead and get that bad boy up. So this is a 50-inch flat screen TV. What's nice about this, again, these are all smart TVs. So you've got a 43-inch in the bedroom, a 50-inch up here in the mid area. You've got a sound bar up above. All of these things can be run off of your phone. So if you've got, if you want to cast something from your phone to the television, you could do that. But they also have all the built-in apps on the TV. So for instance, there's like Netflix, YouTube. You could watch all of my videos from inside of the RV that you bought for me. It would be such a fun time. I think everyone should do it. Hey, by the way, folks, just in case you think it's pure torture, I have to watch all of my videos too, because I do make mistakes sometimes. I'm not always the best. I try to be good, but do you know that these are not edited and not cut? These are all live, and Jody has to hold the camera the entire time I'm talking. It's a true story. Did I show underneath here yet, Jody? I didn't, did I? So the downside to the Euro booth is the fact that your storage area is a little bit smaller. So basically you have enough room to put your books in there. It's definitely good for placemats. I have the convertible booth dinette. In hindsight, I don't know. I like the fact that I have the deeper seats because, I can fit 2 people here, and I think that would be kind of tight, but it would be nice to have the big table. I would enjoy that. So, things to be thought of. I've been doing this thing recently where I've been ordering coaches where it has the traditional convertible booth dinette and then having the table, extendable table as a special added to it, so you get the best of both worlds. I don't know. I know. It's just fun to customize these coaches and make them special. I love this. In my coach, I have separation here in between the cabinets. This is so much more sensible that you can keep a lot better, array of things up in this cabinet area. But we have so much stuff packed in our coach, and we still have room. It's really, really quite amazing how much space we have. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, but before we had that kind of built-in twill or twist to the headboard, it was the kind of the Ventana finish. This is the new interior. Very, very streamlined, very, very clean, very simple. If you look at your ceiling covers, of course, this is where you keep all of your ductwork hidden. This coach, of course, is centrally ducted, but your returns and everything are up here underneath this nice ceiling cover, and it's very, very understated. It's not a gaudy coach. This is a very simple, very clean, very classic and timeless coach. And that word is pretty important there, timeless. You don't want to buy a coach that's going to become dated too quickly. If you do, that resale value is hampered. In this instance, you can come into this coach. This coach is going to look gorgeous for the next 20 years, which is pretty exciting. Now you'll notice I'm standing here in the big black rainbow. that is what attaches the head of this coach to the house of the coach. So just like if you were able to move your neck around, same thing goes here. This is not welded together. The house is not welded to the chassis. It's a floating cab, and it really does make a difference going down the road. I owned a 2020 Verona, and then I had a 2022 Superstar, both Super Cs, both 8.9 liter ISLs. You know, so I was able to kind of get the benefit of having both products and really learning about the differentiation of them. But I will tell you, it's not enough of a difference to make a decision, but it certainly is a more enjoyable drive going down the road. So I wouldn't call it the end all. Of course, when you look at that Verona product by Renegade, it's very affordable. If it would get you into a Super C and keep you out of a Tiffin or a Jayco, go Renegade for sure. If you've got a little extra cash on hand and you want to buy the best of the best, then you would get a Newmar Superstar. I mean, that's just how it goes. Now you'll notice up here, I love this. I talk about this all of the time. All the extra cubby spaces.
Couch.
And then here, as you can see, when you have all of your like bird books, your guidebooks, things like that, binoculars, you can also keep a cubby for each of your kids. So if you've got your kids, for instance, and you want to make sure you've got their AirPods or their hair ties or their hair brushes or their socks, you can put them all in their cubby. And then you do have your JBL subwoofer, and you'll notice that we have this beautiful skylight above us. Now keep in mind, you can put this cover down, right? So we don't have to have that on all the time, but where is my cover? There's shade down. One of the things that's nice about this feature is it really brings a lot of extra light into the coach. But I have to tell you, in 2026, you can order this with a bunk over cab. Now we haven't had our first one arrive yet, but it's important to understand that's been a big differentiating feature for a lot of people where they might have gotten a bath and a half, for instance, at $41.59, but wanted to have grandkids every once in a while staying with them, or that storage space that we talked about that you gain with the bunk model. So that bunk over cab, you would gain that space. Now, of course, you're gonna have to, you know, do the little cutout duck in, you know, it's gonna change the entrance of this coach. I certainly would not change from an aero cab to a bunk over cab myself, but it's important for you as a consumer that you understand that that is newly available to you. Now, as you see here in this transition coming from the all tile floor, you know, again, heated floors into the cab, you've got nice carpet. You'll see that these seats look very, very streamlined, very ergonomic. A lot of people are concerned about that. I've got to tell you, they are very comfortable. I've worked for German manufacturers for years. I've had my coach now for almost 4 years. Very, very comfortable seating configuration here. As I mentioned earlier, we talked about the fact that you had steering wheel controls on this. So this is, again, Freightliner M2-112 Plus dash. So you can answer your phone, you can go through your menu settings. It's got a tire pressure monitoring system. All of that's part of that new Freightliner M2-112 Plus chassis. That, of course, came out in 2024. But in this model year, you'll see one of the things that's a big difference maker. Oh, this is not a very good picture because it's got I've got the garage open in the back, but I can see what's going on not only here on the driver's side in terms of my navigational directions, I can also have my camera on at the same time. So this is a very huge improvement for me. One of my biggest pet peeves is when I turn my right-hand turn signal on, this camera would take over the entire screen and I wouldn't be able to see navigation. So they've integrated a dual screen into this singular space. Super, super clutch. They did not put in any kind of apparatus for me to apply lip gloss yet though. So JP, if you're listening to one of my videos, I hope that you are. Please, we definitely need, you know, in that P4 Cascadia chassis, they have that nice integrated mirror with like the little glowy lights so we can get our face right before we walk into the gas station. We need that here. We're driving these trucks. Us women are. That's true. We really are. So of course we have our air horn, power windows, power mirrors, heated exterior mirrors, power door locks. And then here in the center console, some things worth mentioning. It used to be so hard to find your hazard lights. They're really easy to find now. You don't see a big bulky Allison transmission, although this does have an Allison. It's a stock control transmission, and so is your engine brake. As you can see, it's right there on that stock. So definitely a little more streamlined. Some nice cup holders. You still have your old-fashioned climate control. It's a uniform climate control. So if your wife gets cold easily and she likes the cab warm, you're gonna have to roll your window down. That's how you get dual zone in Super C. You just put that window up and down. That's the whole trick. Somebody came in yesterday. She goes, there's no cubby space. There's no cubby space. I mean, there's some cubby space up here, but look at all this cubby space. I mean, that's so much cubby space. How many Pradas could you fit in there? I mean, that's a whole lot of Pradas. All right, so what do you think? Let's put the slides in, you think, Jody? We'll do slides in. So I'll leave the bedroom slide out so we can show that off too. This is, by the way, pretty special for me because I didn't get to make my video yesterday, and Teresa put like a little APB out there to the world, and she said, can someone please make my video? And I was like, oh my gosh, what a fun video to shoot my own very same RV that I own in the like redone, recapitulated favorite version that just arrived this week for my last video of 2026 or 2025. Pretty fun for me. The other cool thing is I also get to shoot a video on Friday. So today is Tuesday. I will be shooting the first RV video of the year here at Transwest. I'm going to be taking over Grant's spot. So Grant Russell, you guys, a big round of applause. Please post it in your comments down below. Has been promoted. He is going to be our Prevost sales guy. So I'm going to be doing his video while he's down at the factory, learning all about those magnificent chassis. And of course, here at Transwest, we don't just sell, you know, Newmars and Renegades. We also sell Prevosts. So pretty exciting for him that he's gotten that promotion. Now you'll see here, plenty of room to watch a movie, put my feet up, have dinner, make dinner, use the bathroom, all the things that I need to do if I'm boondocking and I don't want to put my slides out because maybe I'm at a Walmart parking lot or a truck stop parking lot. Super, super cool, right? So we love that feature. And as I mentioned earlier, big doorway for big people. So super cool. Of course, you would not be able to access the bed on both sides with your bedroom slide in, but I am going to leave it out. So you'd have to crawl over that bed if you had two people, for instance. If you want to get around that problem, again, bunk over cab 4059 Superstar would give you a bathroom on both sides. We already covered this nice screened area. You do have your shades, both day and night shades throughout the coach. They are manual. They are not power. If you want power, we can do that. We just have to step up a line. But you know, everything's available when you have money. All right, so one of the reasons I wanted to point this out, so first of all, I know it's not a big deal, but that is a classy look to have the painted slide. So when you put your bedroom slide out, it tracks those lines going down the side of the coach. And this is the Eveline decor. So I do a ton of special paints, and honestly, as much as I did a ton of special stuff inside, you know, with our Sedona glazed maple cabinets and our Summit two-tone cabinets, the Eveline was so pretty, I didn't really need to do anything. And then again, with the Ashford, keep in mind, I did sub out a lot of those leathers. So if you want a coach that looks like this, you're gonna have to either call us or find somebody who will get you the build sheet to show you how we modified and managed to make this coach so unique. I love unique. Unique is great, especially when it turns out so well. So as you can see here, big 22.5-inch Michelins. These are, of course, the driving force behind this coach. These are available to you in 2026 as an Onyx package. So you could have blacked out rims and blacked out mirrors. If you haven't seen that before, I just did a video on a 4159 that has that Onyx package. And again, that 4159 has the same beautiful backsplash. Huge access points here. You do have a dual fill, 50-gallon saddle tank on each side, so 100 gallons of total diesel. This is the one side of fill. The other side has your def fluid as well as your fill and your air chalk for your airlines. Here's your side camera, and then you'll notice there's your overhead camera. So this has that 360. This is with one awning out. If we had the second awning out, it would go all the way through to the rear of the coach. The thing that's nice to note about this, I cannot tell you how many times we will have one or the other awning out because of where the sun's hitting or because there's a tree. But we can get that really great spot that's maybe a little smaller than we should be in if we don't have to put out both awnings. So a lot of times we'll be using one awning as opposed to both, or we'll have a big party and use both of them, of course. These window awnings, that's what I was pointing out in that bedroom in the back. Just nice way to keep the wind off of, or the sun out of the coach. But keep in mind, because of how these are strapped in, and you can see how robust they are on either corner, these are going to be a lot better at higher wind speeds than these larger Girard awnings. And that's an important feature because here in Colorado, it's very unusual for me to actually be able to put out awnings during a video because we usually have wind gusts that are using that bounce sensor to make them come back in. There are no bounce sensors on these window awnings, so they'll stay out until you pull them in, but they are definitely much more robust. So here you'll see, again, tons and tons of storage. Did I do the first one yet? No? Thanks, Jody. Jody always saves me. I just have to ask Jody a lot of times. You know, after, I think I'm at 326 videos, Jody. He's like, oh, I can feel that, Katie. That little switch there is to turn on your air ride seats to the front. Keep in mind, when you have air ride seats, you don't have airbags on this coach. This is a rack and pinion. This is a springly suspension in the front. It's airbags in the back. I always get a kick out of that. Like, oh yeah, I got extra airbags in the front of my coach. I'm like, oh yeah, good for you. That's good. You could on a Class A. This is, I know it sounds silly. I had it pre-wired. It's expensive to add it after the fact. You could put a ton of different things in here. So you could put like a nice heavy barbecue in here that you wanted to store, or you could put that smaller Dometic cooler here. It has all of the power sources right here for it. So that's part of that pre-wire. And I understand that it's not a huge cooler, but I wanted to give you the room for the cooler, the big cooler here. And then I wanted to give you the option for the smaller non-ice needing cooler. So, you know, it is kind of nice to have something that you don't need to have ice in. If you're going on a shorter trip and you want to keep a few bottles of wine out here, maybe a few bottles of water, great place to do it. I didn't include the cooler just in case you're not going to use that space, because I do think that this nice, really durable, I mean, you could like put like 1,000 pounds on this, so you can get a really heavy, like you could store all of your gold bars underneath your RV. No, don't do that. If you're going to store your gold bars under an RV, store them under my RV. Oh my God, it must be the end of the year. All right, so another 43-inch flat screen TV, of course, as mentioned earlier. And then your fresh tank drains over here. Again, another sound bar. And again, just one of the nicest features about this coach is the fact that you're able to really, you know, use whatever form of telematics you'd like. There's no more getting stuck with, you know, out without your favorite TV show. With Starlink, you can really just kind of watch anything you want. Or, you know, I just installed a direct TV dish traveler system on top of a Renegade that already had Starlink, because he wanted his cable like he has from home, and he wanted the Wi-Fi that, you know, you could get through Starlink. So, you know, you can have everything that you want in these coaches these days. It's so nice. So I'm pulling this out for you. It's funny, Jody and I actually took a few minutes to uncover the cover, because it comes in a nice like plastic protective, you know, shield. But I wanted you to be able to see how easy you can have access to all of these different panels. So bed, left hand read, bed, right hand read, dresser overhead. All of your fuses and all of your breakers are right here. It shows where everything is wired. So if there's any kind of diagnosis that needs to be done, it's so easily accessed and it's so tidy. So here's your door fans, you know, everything that you want, your Oasis, you know, it's such a cool system. And in talking to the technicians, it's really funny when someone says to you, oh shoot, the best thing that we ever did was to add this system. It's very interesting because honestly, you wouldn't think that that would be such a huge advantage, but for the technicians, it's groundbreaking. And I mean, those are the guys I listen to. Those are the guys that are keeping my coach on the road and keeping me happy. Here's the outdoor attachment for your central vac. As I mentioned, those hoses are down below. You won't need them as much now that you've been able to sweep that floor into your kick plates, and you don't have carpet inside. And then these are your awning controls. So in some of our models, we've actually moved these awning controls to the inside. I really like them here on the outside. Although there's an awning remote, I rarely have it with me. Like, I'm not gonna like, hey buddy, I'm going outside, you better grab that awning remote. Like, I'm lucky if I remember like my jacket, you know, like let alone an awning remote. But if you have these guys up and they start, you can see it's already bouncing just a little bit. You start to catch a gust and you don't have to go inside to push the button. You can just push it right here. That's a pretty nice advantage. So I really like the placement of these. Mine are in the next bay up, but this is a great place to be able to open and close your awnings. And then if I was to pull this little guy would pop up, as you can see. We keep one of those big Costco tables in there. You know, you guys, I have to tell you, when I started dating my boyfriend, you know, he told me he listened to like this progressive like music. He would drink, you know, a big German beer with me and then a bottle of wine. And we'd go out for margaritas to the Rio. And now he doesn't drink at all. So in my honor, if you would use this for top shelf and mixers, I'd really appreciate it. But we've transitioned in our old age. We now have extension cords, you know, windshield washer fluid, tire shine. We've just gotten kind of boring, but whatever you want to store back here, please do. But again, I got bait and switched. I highly recommend. This is a great place for a mini bar or a maxi bar, right? Oh, should I show the butt? Let's show the butt, Jody. Again, this is that Eveline exterior. If you want to know the colors, it's a very sparkle black, a nice dark silverish gray, a very bright white, and then a nice dark slate color. It's just a really good looking coach. And again, this is gonna have a 20,000 pound towing capacity, whether it be on the M2-112 or the M2-106. And if you decide that you would like to have, you know, an integrated tow system, keep in mind you will have to have an airline and ping tank installed, as well as that base plank or base plate. And we would recommend that you use Blue Ox and Air Force One. We do those things here. We can actually help you order your vehicle. Transwest does not just have, you know, 3 RV shops, you know, one here in Frederick, one in Belton, and then one in Grand Junction. We actually have a lot of stores. We've got 43 different locations. We have Fords, we have Jeeps, we have Chevys, and we actually have deals for people who buy their tow vehicles from us and then allow us to install the base plate. So if you want to learn more about that package deal, please let me know. So as you can see here, we have a few things going on. First and foremost, we've got pass-through storage. Secondly, you can see the foundation of this coach is built up on what's called the STAR foundation. So this stands for strong, true, and robust. And that's what's taking this heavy weight from the exterior of the coach and forcing it down towards the middle and then raising the coach floor off of the chassis rail. That is what's giving you your very quiet drive going down the road. It's what's giving you a better center of gravity. The STAR foundation is a big difference maker in the coach. I don't know if you noticed earlier, but I was sitting in a bay under a slide. That is not something that is normal. You'll also notice that when I open these doors, they're MoRide doors, so they're more rigid than they used to be in 2026, so this is an improved door. But also what's important about them is they're opening wide and sideways, so I can get in here and load without having to duck underneath something or to sit on a stool. So the very cool features that you don't think about when you're coach shopping, but just like that whole row of doors straight down. I mean, first of all, how impressive is the build quality of this coach? I mean, I worked in the car industry for years, and to have somebody come in and build something this big, and to think about all of the different aspects that go into it, you know, the types of awnings that they have, these opening windows, the surround camera system, the docking lights on the exterior, the slide toppers on your slides so you don't get leaves or debris into your coach, the little place to keep your gravity hose, right? So I keep one half in there, I keep the other half of our 20-foot Gorilla hose in here. Clear elbows, love it. Comes out of the bottom right here. You could keep the whole thing in here if you didn't want to keep it in your water bay. Then you'll also note that we have a clear housing on our whole house water filter now, so you can tell if it's yucky. And then of course, when you see our shower heads are down, that always means the coach is winterized. We would hate to have anybody get into the coach and take a blue shower. That will make them very grumpy. 8 kilowatt quiet diesel generator. Again, if you ever start this and you are not getting any charge out of it, there's a breaker up here. There's a good chance that that breaker is tripped. If that's the case, your generator will run, but you won't have any power coming off of the generator into the coach. So that's an important thing to note. Again, we talked about this inside, but big changes for this model year. The fact that we've got our dual lithium, our dual inverters with our lithionics system. Now this is only 640 amp hours. Keep in mind, there's a few things you could do with this. You could add an extra 320 amp hour battery, and then that second inverter that you have here, this second inverter would give you even, like, I'd say so this is a good way to think about it. These two batteries are enough to power the coach. These two batteries are enough to power the coach. If you added a third battery to this, so another 320 amp hours of battery to your inverter, that would be almost all dedicated towards your air conditioning, which would give you the ability to run it for probably 10 hours in hot circumstances. Now it only powers the one central air conditioner, but for, like I said, for people who are in muggy conditions, staying overnight where they can't run their generators, I'm not a huge lithium fan. Honestly, I just put AGMs in my coach. I don't find myself in those situations, but I live in the desert. I live in the, you know, the Rocky Mountain desert. So it's not, you know, hot at our mountain towns. But I'm sympathetic for those of you that are down in the Keys, down in Georgia, down in Atlanta. It gets hot and muggy, and if you want air conditioning overnight, this is the way to go. Again, so we have our equalizer leveling system. So this is your hydraulic leveling system. As you can hear, we've got our Oasis, a dual loop Chinook right now. It is what is keeping the coach warm. I can feel these right here. They're pretty warm. This has got an 8-gallon reservoir of antifreeze running through loop 1 and loop 2. And these two loops are what are running under the coach, and it's pushing air over this hot antifreeze, and it's what's actually warming the interior of this coach right now without having the generator on, without having any kind of 30 amp or 50 amp, just running off of the diesel system on its own. So this is a burner system, or again, you've got AC1 and AC2, which would be element systems that you could use even at 30 amp. So the only thing, if you were at a 30 amp situation, you would only have one AC on this coach, so that would work. But with having your central AC, you could actually run both, which is pretty amazing. And then here, we've got our power cord on a power reel. If you don't believe me that it's cold, there's some ice at the bottom. And then I am gonna open up this hood for you so that you can see underneath. So again, there is that 8.9 liter ISL, that beautiful marriage of Cummins to Freightliner. Your jump points on the Superstar are up here in the front. And then, as I mentioned earlier, spring leaf suspension here in the front, airbags in the rear. This coach, of course, has got four-corner hydraulic leveling system. It's got a clear bra here on the front. It's got, just a 3-piece breakaway bumper, a surround camera. I mean, I don't know. I'm so happy with my Newmar. If you've got questions and you'd like to learn more about our product, I hope that you'll reach out to me. My name is Katie O'Neill. I'm coming to you live from Transwest Truck Trailer RV. Happy New Year, happy 2025, and I hope that 26 makes all of your dreams come true. Let me know how I can get you out on the road and camping.